Peace and love, royal family. Now, I wanted to talk to you about the different spirits. That's who we are. Well, what are we? You know, and these is two forces you have in this world. Everything work on polarities, negative and positive, feminine and masculine. And for the record, let me clear up what feminine and masculine, negative and positive real quick so we get a quick understanding. Now, you see, everything works in world opposite. It don't work the same. So what we consider the male energy, that's the positive, the negative energy, the negative energy. The male energy is negative. Now, guess who possessed the male energy? The female. That's why she's aggressive. That's what makes her God. That's what makes her the creator. It's not the positive energy. And we take the positive energy in the literal sense, in the materialistic sense, meaning positive mean you're positive, you're good, you're nice. No, it don't mean that. It's like polarity on a battery. One side you have one energy, the other side you have another energy. You take the wires and put it on both sides and you got current or electricity. That's all it means. It don't mean you're good or you're bad or anything. It's inside of us, our nature of who we are. So the woman is negative and the man is positive. That's how it goes because of the zodiac. The precession of the zodiac, which we read in a clockwise direction, the real way it's read, or in the astral world, it works counterclockwise. So would everything else. A man would be like a woman and a woman like a man, in the sense of their spiritual self and their soul. We're going to get into that, but I just wanted you to understand how the polarities work. And when we say a man is positive, what it means, and a woman is negative, what it means. She's the aggressor. She's the material side of him. Now the man is the positive energy or whatever, as far as when you look at life, you have two types of forces. You have the negative energy, or what's our regular air. And then you have what's called positive energy. The positive energy now, it's not in the air, it's what's ionized. We make that. It's probably, you would look at it like what you breathe out, that is giving us the oxygen or whatever the case may be, or carbon. But this is how it will work now. When these two forces collide, it makes life, it makes everything. And so they have a lot in common. So now these two energies, right, when they combine together, they bring about everything in creation. That's when you have action, or, where you go from potential energy to kinetic energy. All right, so now these two forces, woman is the material, she and the man, which is one soulmates. Then once they separate from being one soul, because a soul don't come down like how we think by itself to the universe and through to earth here and incarnate. It's a soul has to separate its polarities from the negative to positive, where the positive comes down, but the negative becomes material. Now the positive don't just come down, it becomes antimatter. So what you're gonna have is dark matter and light matter. And it sends into the dark, the light matter, and it incarnates. It goes through all the 9 spheres, which give us all our attributes, our personalities. And so the governor is what we call the zodiac, the 12 zodiacs. Each one of them is an entity, beast, or a spirit that controls or governs your attitude, your mentality, your psychology, your psychic abilities, and your extrasensory perception. All of these is invisible forces that govern you, that it works through your zodiac. Now, the zodiac itself is demons or beasts. You see how they look in their actual form. They're not like, beautiful human beings. They're all like creatures, animalistic looking symbols for what represent us, your sign or whatever. So these zodiacs, when you travel that path of the zodiac to come to be incarnated in Earth, you go through the last 9 planets. These 9 planets have attributes to them, from Saturn, that gives you your ability to think and to your will, to places like, yes, brother, all right, places like Mars, which will give you your attribute for war, and to have you prepared for violence, to Venus, which will give you an attribute of love. All of these is different attributes of yourself that is a governor that holds you down, and you have to learn to ascend past it. Once you ascend past it, you be able to give those things that's governing you or holding you down as insecurities back, and you start the process of enlightenment and ascension to a higher level. Once you get to these higher levels now, it's like the zodiac spirits come back to you and they pay you a visit to cleanse you now for your soul to ascend. Once your soul is waking up, it's a process you go through for your soul to wake up. It starts like a connection. This connection is connecting your soul to your spirit. But it's also an ascension of you seeing the material world as it's not material no more, and it was like an illusion. Everything starts to change. You start seeing other things within the physical world, ghost spirits, gas spirits, lights, reflections, all these things that is here that we never saw because our mind was so calcified in this dimension. So once you start this process now of ascension and you giving back what you already mastered through oppression, through adversity, through hardship, these things now make you, like how they say, the philosopher or the master builder. And with that, you give up your material side, or like how they say, you put down everything and just pick up your cross, and we're gonna take this ride. So you wind up having faith in yourself, and you go to the inner understanding of yourself, and you don't have insecurities, fear, your sense of love, and needing somebody and being alone is shattered and gone. So you're more now wanting to learn how to get yourself to a higher level, protect yourself and who you are. And in doing so, this is when angels come in, because we could go with aliens, we could go with all types of different things, but none of those is going to be an accurate definition of who you are. Now, I've studied our ancestors, from them on the drums and the dancing to their spiritualness, and them talking to other spirits, and the masks and the shields of these entities. These is who we are. Those is angels. These beings, they're not doing it because they're alien or they could do magic or they got powers. They're doing it because they're fallen angels that came on here on earth and has been here all this time, and they do their ritual of the magnetic field, the energy, the oneness that they are with all these spirits and entities, as a form of empowerment in themselves to build. With it, it's like you get to learn how to levitate. The more spirits you have and the more in touch you are, you could do things like build the pyramids with the 1 ton, 2 ton bricks, or whatever tons they is, 100 tons. And these is done through spirits being united with mind and the magnetics. They're able to build these things. Hello, how you doing? So if you're able to understand these concepts, you understand what it is to be man again, and you be able to ascend, or what it is to be the black spirit. This has everything to do with being the black spirit. Even if you white, Chinese, or whatever, there's all these things. It's just new covers over your car. That's not how your car really look. It's really an engine inside of it, and it's either got a white engine or a black engine. The two of them has been at war ever since before the physical world came, with the underdog being the black spirit, dark matter. Dark matter is always looked upon as evil, or that it's here to cause destruction. These dark matter is actual physical African beings, Africans that first resided here in the stratosphere and atmosphere long before it was physical. And they went to war with these other beings. This is where you get your church people from, the Inquisition, Jesus, and all that. Look, now, these two forces is always been, because it has to do with the polarities. It has to go to war and stay at war, because that's what give life existence. Like, we have your good side. Half of you is positive, half of you is negative. Half of you is a female, half of you is a male. It goes for every human being. That's why you have all these dualities within yourself. And my philosophy will be more of uniting these two, like your hemispheres of your brain, your right and left hemisphere. I wouldn't put it to go against each other, duality, like the night trying to conquer day or day trying to conquer night. That compression of that circle is perfectly aligned. No matter how you push, it's not going to go no further. So it will show you how to unify with yourself and understand yourself instead of going against yourself, denying yourself, or saying that, oh, I'm bad, I'm evil, I got to change my ways or live a certain way. Life is about experience. For you to be good, you have to understand what it is to be bad. And there's no such thing as bad. Your interpretation of bad is going to be bad within yourself, within your measurement of what you consider life or in morals. Because each person have to experience certain things, and that's what you're here for. God brings you, or your creator, or whatever you want to call it. I'm trying to be universal with it. You know, we was all indoctrinated under the European system, so we have a way of expressing ourselves that it only could be the way they taught us. But whatever, you know, the highest is that created everything, this energy, this now is where everything resides, and we have to learn how to be one with the energy and not look at it like we want the positive side or we want the negative side, because some of us was born too positive and we're here to learn negativity. Some of us is too negative and is here to learn positivity. So we have cycles and cycles upon cycles that we have to learn. Now, you know, when we go into the spirituality of it, these dark matter beings against the light is actually the same as night and day. It's always going to be, and it's necessary. But the two love affair that's going on is that it's a love affair between night and day. They're always in love with each other, chasing each other, kissing each other, arguing and fighting with each other. But that's how they have to be for this world to be created, for us to be here. You understand? So I want you to understand yourself, the negative forces you feel, and its influences on you. It's not supposed to be taken literal, but to be felt as energy, as of regret feeling that you have to learn to live with, but it's the fuel that fires you to want to live every day. This is what it's really meant by it. Now, we see it on the media, we see it all over the place. We even experience it from peoples on the street as far as racism and our color of our skin. But this has been induced by our government. It's falsely promoted in the sense of us having hate for each other. And you can't hate nobody. The only thing you can hate is yourself. Because by you hating somebody else, you just bringing out the negative aspect of yourself into reality. Because there's people out here, from Buddha monks to, you know, people who have money and wealth, that they could make themselves a cushion in life, yes, and do what's correct and don't have to experience none of this shit from the ghetto, the urban area, from wars or anything. Generations after generations just living good. I say that to say that your reality is what you create in your mind, whatever you think of it. And once you put that into manifestation, it's going to be what you believe and what you see is where you're going to put yourself at. So if you was born in the urban hood, in the ghetto or whatever, but you feel you're not from the ghetto, you're not with that mentality and you outgrew it, you're going to take yourself out of that environment and put yourself to where you believe you're supposed to be at. That's the power of willing your reality into existence. And that's what we have the ability to do, to use thought. Our thinking is constant, it's always going, but it's being controlled by our subconscious. Is the one that actually is the last stage. You consider the conscious the first stages of it, and they have to seep all the way back to the subconscious, and later on it becomes this actual reality that you're living in. So our reality is a post-action. It happened, we thought of it maybe years ago, and it's just taking place now, but it's like food. What you put in your body today is going to show in 5 years from now. Not actually today. As you ate it today, it's not going to help you today. It's going to help and show later on. It's the same thing how creation create reality. Your thoughts manifest 5 years from now, 3 years from now. Some people can manifest it faster, but really that's how it works. And I'm not talking about the law of attraction where you attract what you want, work, everything. Those is immediate because it's like karmatic or what we call dharmatic. But what you do have is your actual reality before you came here that been part of what's called your ancestral rights, your rite of passage. These things now is what's being denied to you because it's not actually your right anymore. You're following the right of your created conditioned soul that is being conditioned here depending on the environment you was carnated in. So you have to learn how to overstand culture and overstand what's going on as far as what our beliefs is, and to learn angel life, to learn who you are. With angel life, you learn to use your magnetic field, which is around you, your aura, to be one with that energy, to use that energy to unite everything that you wish and your wants to get what you want in this world without putting too much effort into it. With it, you learn the philosophy of what's going on, how the stars, the moon, and the sun has great teachings in it, and it's the real awakening of your soul. It's your teacher because your soul is inside of you. By using those tools, you awaken, and once it's awakened, it starts the process of ascension. And so, yes, Baba, how you doing? It starts you on your way to your higher self and get rid of the lower animal self. Once we start doing this, we take ourselves out of the mind matrix of the European mind and our oppressor. As long as, even if he was to die and there's not one of him here, we would still be him because it's a psychological state. If we go back to the original Africa or Egypt, we didn't have lights and internet, all these things. Our psychological state of mind was different. Our spirituality was different. We was into other things. Just think about it. All the free time you're wasting now doing all these frivolous things as far as, playing with these smartphones and just, conversations that when you walk away from it, you learn nothing more than you did, but you call a person cool and you feel happy. We did way more deeper things, and it was what it is to be black, what it is to be dark matter. And we lost that now. We're more European-minded, thinking we could change the world and that there's a light and that we need to take everybody towards the light. We proud peoples of our skin color, so we war with each other in a fight that is natural. You can't help it, and you can't do anything about it. All you could do is discipline yourself not to be like that. But it's not a fight of hate. I tell you, it's a fight of love. It's the same forces that govern the North Pole and the South Pole. One side of the pole, the North Pole, sucks air in, yes, or energy in, and the other side releases it in the South Pole. And everything is polarized, and so is life. And if you don't understand life, you're going to be here just keep on watching these fools on YouTube and all these crazy people trying to explain why white people do what they do, why they wrote this, why they said that, why this is this. It's everything we're defining is what they made us, but we don't know what it is to be black. I show you what it is. I show you what our eyes could do. I show you what we could use the energy to do. And there's so much more. But first you have to learn the philosophy of what it is to be who you are. Yes, brother. And once you learn the philosophy of who you are, then you will know what you're capable of doing. So, I just want to get an idea of everything that's going on, and I don't want to make this too long and stretched out and boring, because I know I'm a boring dude, but the truth is really that simple. It's not very exciting, it's boring. So, one love.